Welcome to another episode of Glitter and Garbage into the Spellingverse. I'm Justine Marino.
I'm Daniel Webb.
This is Blair.
Blair.
We've got another great and important episode for you today.
Yes.
This is a heavy issues episode. This is episode 18 entitled It's Only a Test, which incredible double entendre because both the A story and the B story involve important tests.
I love when the A and B stories are just mirror images of each other. I love that.
It honestly, I was like impressed because I did think it was like a smart way to intertwine everything.
As disappointed as I was in the writing the last episode, yes, I agree. This was a finessed script.
Yes, I agree. Now I feel like the statistics could have been worked in a little bit more organically.
Or they should have just like mailed us all a pamphlet after we viewed the episode.
So this episode, obviously, it is the Brenda finds a lump in her breast episode, which you remember this episode.
Distinctly. I clearly remember, I think this is the first time I sat down to watch it, but I remember who was in the room we were watching. The two memories forever. I have a weird memory and earworms like crazy, but Donna making the "Aren't you glad you used dial?"
I remember you referenced that a couple times.
So that has been in my head since broadcast, right? I'm not kidding, because first of all, there were commercials. Do they still make those commercials?
I don't remember them.
Do you know what that's a reference to?
Was it a dial commercial?
Yeah, so it was one of those where you'd be on a subway and everyone's holding on the rail, but everyone stinks, but you don't because you use dial. And their tagline was, "Aren't you glad you use dial?"
Oh, interesting.
So Donna's making a joke, which is not like her. And then the other thing is, what does Brenda keep saying? She's like, prepare for the best, expect, or what is it? Expect the worst.
Expect the best, prepare for the worst.
That part.
Yes.
So that has been in my head all the time. If I'm going on a test, having a show, whatever it is, I literally hear Brenda Walsh saying that.
Interesting.
For 30 years.
I love that, though.
So I remember this. And I also remember, I don't want to out them, but my friend Paige, when we were watching this and she's in the smart, what do you call it when you go to the hospital, the thing, the gown?
The gown.
And she's laying on the table. My friend goes, "She looks fat." I'll never forget that. I will never forget being like, but she's in the hospital. But yes.
Let's give her some grace.
That's what I thought.
She has a breast lump.
But we were also kids.
Okay, so this episode starts out, Steve is trying to get Brandon to take this SAT prep course. That's $500.
Alfred P.
What's his name? Alfred P. something.
Because Cook. Because if Alfred B. Cook, you be fried.
Yes, something like that. Steve is all about it. He's like, I'm going to ace these SATs because I'm doing this crash course. And Brandon's like, those don't work, which they don't. I took one. And the only things that helped me improve my score was not being drunk at the SATs and starting Dexedrine because I found out I had ADHD. That raised my scores. I'm not joking. My parents paid, it was like $700 or $800 for this college course. And my scores did not improve.
I feel like I had to do the same thing. Well, I think because my sister was scholastic and they made me do the same shit she did. Yeah. And I think I failed miserably at that one and did not do well at the actual SATs.
I mean, I was fine. I got like almost 1,100 or something, I think.
I am now remembering, I don't even think I physically remember taking my SATs.
Really?
I don't think I do.
I just do because of the time I was drunk from the night before and had to use, I didn't even have a pencil. I had to like gather pencils and supplies from other people who were drunk.
Wow,
also.
What a day to be in that state of mind.
Right?
Yeah.
No, and then I'm like drunk at the SATs.
Taking the test.
I'm lucky I woke up for them.
I'm like, maybe I was drunk and that's why I can't remember.
We were both just blacked out.
But it was at no point something important to me.
No, look, everyone was like, oh, it's so important and everything. And all my friends were doing the course. So, of course, I did it with them because I was, it was like Brenda, Kelly, and Donna all doing the course together,
So, we were just all Steve Sanderses.
Yes, exactly. But it's weird how he's pushing it so hard because it's like, is he getting a kickback? What's going on?
That would be very Steve.
That would be very Steve.
It's like a pyramid scheme.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Gets a commission.
Well, then Brandon goes into the newsroom and Andrea is freaking out.
Panic.
She is not good at standardized testing.
What's the word he says? Masticate?
Oh, he you're masticating and she's like,
yeah.
why would you use that word? Is it going to be on the test? Blah, 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 blah. Triggered. She is so triggered. And then she's like, I can't afford to take the course. I'm going to fail and not get into Yale. Or what was it? Pacoima, not Princeton.
Yeah. Which honestly, can this be a musical? Can we write the musical from Princeton to Pacoima?
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. I love it.
Because Steve says it and then she says it.
And then she says it. Exactly.
Yeah.
And Brandon's like,
We've
okay.
been talking to Steve.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, from Princeton or Pacoima.
Well, then we cut to Brenda, Kelly, and Donna studying in Kelly's room.
They're in the red room.
And this is where we see the pictures of Kelly that I have been talking about that are like Andy Warhol, but not like dollar store Andy Warhol paintings of her.
I just think that they're trying to make her look rich.
Okay, these are the photos or the paintings.
Which one's your favorite?
I mean, I gotta go the smiling one because it's like
purple.
It looks the most like Kelly, but then the other ones are so weird. Like everyone has a little something to offer, you know?
Yeah, I mean the one on the left, she's Marge Simpson.
Yeah, she is, and the red, it's like she's with the white lipstick. It's very odd.
I'm kind of into it. There's Kemper Faller's this artist that I don't know anybody knows, but she's very weird. But look up Kemper Faller. That is the middle one for sure. And there's something very weird about the purple one.
Yeah, the purple one is weird, but like it almost looks like she went missing, and like
that's Milk Carton Kelly.
Milk Carton Kelly.
I think that they're trying to make her look rich, a la Cher from Clueless, where they have Warhols in the room.
Yes.
But I also think the prop department probably didn't have a budget, and they thought it's in the background. They'll never see it again.
No one will know.
But here it is.
We know.
Full.
Gosh, it's so good. In a red room. You can see a little bit of the red room.
Imagine like being at a garage sale in Studio City and coming across one of these.
I would kill to have this on my wall now, though.
Where are those?
We need to find these immediately.
At auction, yeah.
I mean,
What's Sotheby's?
There's no price. I won't pay for these.
Price less, yeah.
Price less.
Hopefully price for less.
Yes. God, I love it.
It's Joy from Inside Out.
Yes, it is Joy from Inside Out. That's so true. God, it's so good.
That's hilarious.
Okay, so they're studying there.
That was from Aaron, by the way. The Joy.
We can't take credit.
No
that was all Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
So they're studying. Kelly's reading a magazine, and then she's like, "You guys, there's this breast exam we should do."
Mm-hmm.
And then she starts spouting off statistics.
So this is the part where the episode becomes the PSA.
Yes, exactly.
Because I honestly think they took a lot of responsibility in because they walk you through the exam.
Yes.
And I think they're trying to show people how to literally do that.
Yeah.
So I respect that part.
I respect it as well. And I mean, I feel like I've said this on the podcast before, but I'm a hypochondriac. So I do a breast exam. You're supposed to do it once a month. I do it like every day. I'm so neurotic. Every time I go into my doctor, she must think I'm trying to fuck because I'm like, I'll go in for like a sore throat and I'll be like, could you check the tits out? And she's like, do you need a chaperone? I'm like, nope.
No. In fact, I brought a beer.
Yeah. And also you do.
But I do think it's similarly okay. But this episode, I will say, which several things happened in the early '90s. There was an AIDS epidemic, still kind of is, but there were lots of television shows that highlighted AIDS and what leads to it or how you can get it. 90210 already did that.
Yeah.
Breast cancer was kind of one of those that was starting to get like just traction in, or was brought up on TV shows.
Yeah.
But me as a kid, like I watched AIDS episodes of TV shows. There was a mini series called "And the Band Played On."
Yeah.
They were really getting into like discussing that. But as a kid, literal 8 and 9-year-old, I thought, oh my gosh, I have it, whatever it is, right? So I'd see myself pale in the mirror and think, oh my God, I have breast cancer because I saw it on 90210.
Yeah.
This was one of those things that informed a very ignorant kind of hypochondria within me.
Well, I mean, that's me. I just, everything, I think I have it. Still to this day. So it's nice that you grew out of it.
But it just made me worried.
Yeah.
This episode made me worried.
No, it is. And you know what? This is a serious episode,
Yes. Despite Donna and her dial jokes.
Oh my God, Donna's dial jokes. Other than that, and the B story gets a little, Steve and
I loved it.
I loved it too. But the core story is pretty serious. And it really does make you feel like that, like, oh, it's probably nothing. We can all relate to that.
Yes.
It's nothing, but like, it could be something.
Yeah. So she finds a lump, but she keeps it a secret.
Yeah.
And doesn't tell anybody.
So she finds a lump while they're doing the exam, and then goes home, talks to Cindy. Cindy feels it. She's like, there is something there. She asks Cindy not to tell Jim. She, of course, immediately tells Jim, which I get. But Brenda's like embarrassed, like her tits are bad or something. Like she's like with Dylan later, she's like, you're looking at me different. You don't love me anymore. Like
she's... okay, she is going through a medical situation, but she's not allowing other people, the patients, to work through their own processing of this.
Exactly.
Like the moment she tells, it's later in the episode, but when she tells Dylan, and she's like, Dylan, I can't believe it. And he has to take a minute and be like, Brad.
Yeah, Brad.
He has to say Brad.
Well, Cindy is freaking out. Everyone's holding it down for Brenda, but behind the scenes, everyone's a little worried. Cindy's like, especially because we left out Aunt Sheila...
Yes.
Died of breast cancer. Cindy's younger sister, which, I mean, again, I know I do this every episode. I'm so Brenda. I do have an Aunt Sheila. It is my mom's younger sister.
What?
Isn't that weird?
Yes, it is weird.
That's weird, right?
That's weird. Is your mom's name Cindy?
No,
all right.
Lorna. Isn't that good? Lorna.
Oh, I love a Lorna.
Lorna's good.
That's a good one.
But Sheila is the younger. She is still with us. Love Aunt Sheila. Shout out to Aunt Sheila. But I was like, damn, this is just the hits keep coming.
When will the continuity end?
I know.
That's really funny.
It really. So, okay. So anyway, so that's part of why everyone is very alarmed, because Aunt Sheila, Cindy's sister, died only 2 years ago.
So there's two things that happen when either Walsh parent is acting. Jim and Carol Potter are both guilty of it. And I don't know what the boom mics are obviously very close.
Yes.
Because we see them. In this episode, I got the first one. It's in the courtyard when Steve, Andrea, and Brandon are all talking.
Right.
When Andrea's running down the stairs after him.
Right.
You see, I think that's when you see the mic come in and it like points at her and points at him.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
Okay, what the fuck was I talking about?
The Aunt Sheila.
Oh yeah. The parents, when they act, before they deliver their line, they both do a in the back of their throat. They go, like that. They give a vocal like that. But the mom's is so like crisp and drink a glass of water.
Yes.
Carol Potter needs some water.
Someone get Carol water.
But because this episode is so poignant and so many dramatic scenes, Carol Potter's in her way through the whole episode.
Yes, there are a lot of.
The ASMR is negative.
Yes.
Negative ASMR rating.
Yes, absolutely. Also, I forgot to say about the last episode. At the end, when Brenda decides to go home and not be on her own, and Brandon gives up the candidacy, Mitch brought a very good point up, which is that it's very clear the Walsh kids just want no responsibility.
Oh yeah.
At all.
At the end of the day. But that is very true.
Yeah.
They never want any responsibility for the trouble they cause, the other lives they meddle in.
It's true.
Or just generally speaking in life.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. But in this episode, I think everyone kind of steps up to the plate to be there for Brenda.
Well, it's one of those things where everybody's so busy taking care of themselves because everybody has to take the SATs, right? And everybody's freaking out over it. So no one has time to deal with Brenda.
Well, she tells people slowly. So like first she tells Cindy, who tells Jim, and then she's at school and Cindy comes into her classroom
in an updo. With an updo.
With like a suit, like a skirt suit.
Yes. It's like it's a Chanel wannabe.
But I'm like, why is she wearing this just to go to the doctor's? First, she not knocking on it, but like she doesn't have a job. She's a housekeeper with an assistant.
Yes.
And
where does this executive Carol Potter come from?
Like, why is she wearing this? We've not seen her dress anything like this at all.
At all. So why does Cindy put her hair up for the doctor?
It's so weird. So they go to the doctor and she's like, well, she came really highly recommended. And Brenda's like, she?
Yeah, a woman doctor.
Brenda is so impressed that they have women doctors in Beverly Hills.
Really fast on the topic of blazers.
Yes.
Which I never understood. I get it now. Like an oversized blazer is such a fashion thing. But there was a wrong way to do it. And to me, this Carol Potter, the Cindy blazer is the wrong way to do it.
Yeah, it has to be kind of like slouchy and cool. And whereas like there is a way, and no disrespect, but like very 90s, like that Paula Poundstone look.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
But so yeah, they're at the Did you like the doctor? I thought the doctor was a real doctor.
Yeah, she seemed like a real doctor, and she's doing a bunch of statistics too.
That part, yeah.
Statistics. It's like every monologue. It's just like one organic line into just fucking read it directly from the magazine.
Did you?
It's so
yes.
statistic.
But it was very much like educational entertainment.
Yes.
Where you see the EI in the corner of
Yes.
the screen. You're like, wait a second.
Yes.
Y'all tricked me into learning.
Yes,
like it's
exactly.
that part where it's
Yes.
like half the script is just medical.
So they decide to do what is it called? A needle.
Oh, biopsy?
It's not the biopsy. It's where they prick Brenda's breast, the lump with the
Because
needle.
the line is really good around it. So we need to do a needle.
Aspartame, not aspartame.
No, not that. The needle and the damage done.
No, it's like
I know. I'm not a doctor. Let me try and look this up.
it's like a needle.
But not biopsy.
It's not the first she gets the needle thing done, then she does the biopsy. Needle medical
That's what I'm typing. Breast
needle test for fluid.
This says needle biopsy, but I did.
Oh, is it just a needle test for fluid? Yeah. Oh, it's a needle aspiration. I was right.
Oh.
Okay. So the doctor recommends a needle aspiration to see if it's a cyst, because if it's a cyst, they'll be able to pull fluid out. Now, Carol Potter is very overbearing. We're seeing.
Oh, you think so?
Well, Cindy's like, and then she's like, "Doctor, can I talk to you outside?" And the doctor's like, "Actually, I'm not allowed to talk to you without fucking Brenda here because she's my patient."
Well, she's probably having like PTSD from her experience with Sheila.
I know that, but she's just like, the fact that she's like, I almost got the sense that Carol like didn't want them to do the biopsy when it gets to that. Like she's like, a biopsy. And then remember, the doctor kicks out Cindy for a second and she's like, hey, we have patient doctor confidentiality. Anything you say to me, did you clock this? Anything you say, I can't share with anyone. Not your parents, not your clergymen. We have never seen this family go to church.
Once.
Not once.
That was strictly from the medical pamphlet.
That was so funny.
That was.
Yeah. But the doctor kicks Carol Potter out because she wants to keep it real, because she's like, damn, bitch, calm down. Like, I'm doing my job.
So when, I forget what age it is, but you're like a young male and you have to go to the doctor and get the cough test, right? Do you know what that is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I don't know what that exam, I guess this is for testicular cancer or whatever. You're 12 or 13 or something like that. So my mom took me to the doctor and they're like about to start that part of the exam. And I remember my doctor and I both turning to my mom like, and now you leave.
Yeah.
Like, what part of me having to ask you this? I just will never forget that being like, can you go?
Yeah.
Like, this is weird.
Yeah, exactly.
But my mom was just sitting there like a mom.
Yeah. Well, look, and I get it. I am empathetic towards Cindy, but she's a little like, she needs to chill a little and let the doctor do her job. And the doctor...
You just wanted to let her hair down.
She just wanted to let her hair.
She needs to get out of that updo.
She does. She needs to take the updo down. Yeah. It is interfering.
It's a blazer, not it's a doctor's office, not a dinner party.
Exactly. She is very like dinner party chic. They do the aspiration, no liquid. So they're like, we're going to have to do a biopsy. This is when people start really getting worried, you know? So they go home. There are a lot of very dramatic scenes in this episode.
A Brandon and Brenda scene that is so long.
Yes.
Back and forth. I mean, she's crying.
Yeah, she's crying. And then they have this weird flirty moment at the end. Did you realize that?
Yes.
I rewound it because it was very dramatic. I kind of tuned out. And then all of a sudden, it was like very flirty. And I rewound it. I was like, Mitch, that's weird, right? He's like, yeah, that's kind of weird.
She does. The last take in the scene is a Brenda classic where she does like a... that like laugh, smile, weird mouth thing. Yeah.
I was like, guys, we can see you're not related here, but be better actors.
It was weird, but they both give this weird like sultry look to each other. Similarly, it was such a long scene that I was like, this is so boring. And my mind started to wander, and then I was like, I should pay attention again. When I look back, it was that. I was like, God, they can never stop trying to fuck.
They are so trying to fuck. So then she tells, I think at this point she's told Kelly and Dylan and Donna and everyone knows. Meanwhile, what were you gonna say?
No, because she did because weren't Kelly and Donna like, why didn't you tell us?
Oh, yes, she did tell Kelly and Donna maybe after she went to the doctor.
Yeah, they're like, why didn't you tell us that?
I think when she needed the biopsy, she told people.
Mm-hmm.
But then meanwhile, Andrea hits up Steve and is like, hey, can you take some notes for me at this college prep class? I don't have $500.
Yes.
And she's all like, it causes an unfair advantage and all this stuff. And Steve's like, sure, come over at 8 p.m. tonight.
She says 8 p.m.
Oh, she says 8 p.m.
Here's the thing. Another contradiction. Andrea is bootlegging the course.
Yeah.
She is lowering her standards. What did she call Steve? Steve is a slut and what?
Oh, is a superficial slut.
Yeah. So, well, look who needs help.
Yeah, exactly.
Andrea.
Exactly.
Well, she's not too afraid.
Well, and then when they get there.
Oh, I loved it.
Me too.
I loved it.
I kind of am rooting for them.
So I too. Okay, first of all, this is like one of my favorite scenes anyone can ever act out. It's just like awkward. Oh, we're like.
Yeah.
I think even Megan Stalter has this really funny thing that she has on her Instagram where it's like that, like awkward romantic acting.
Yeah.
It literally was like watching an acting course.
Well, first of all, Andrea is laying on his bed, no shoes on. I'm like, glasses off, and he's like, you look really cute without your glasses. And Steve's like wearing a t-shirt. He's looking pretty casual.
He looks so cute.
Yeah, he looks cute. I'm like, okay. And then he says, you look cute without your glasses. And she's like, ah. And then he gets on and makes out with her.
So Steve leans in and kind of, he's the move maker. But Andrea's the one who like.
She wants it.
Yeah, big time.
I bet she was like, this is so gross. I bet she was sopping.
Oh my God. Can you believe it?
Like
yes.
Floodgates.
Yeah.
That's why she had to leave so fast.
No, she had to get out fast because listen, her that was not going to improve her essay. You cannot be horny and scholastic at the same time.
No, you cannot. You have to choose a lane.
Well, plus she can't read the questions when her glasses are all foggy.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
She has to like de-steam those.
Yeah.
Steve is way hotter when he dresses down.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's just something more accessible about him, but he looks so hot.
Just jeans and t-shirt.
Oh, so hot.
But I will say, when she leaves, all kerfuffled, right? He does this flip over on the bed and puts his shoes on the bed, which is so gross.
Yeah.
So she leaves, but what are they discussing what are they studying? Or do they ever talk about the topic? I
forget.
Anyway, I'm surprised that Andrea made herself that vulnerable.
I am too.
An 8 p.m. study date with a known stupid slut.
Well, also, it's like 8 p.m. What are you doing for 3 hours?
Thank you. Between.
Sorry, the Valley. You're not going to go all the way back Valley and then to Steve's.
She's got to kill time at the Peach Pit.
Yeah, exactly. But Steve has this kind of moment where he's like giddy afterward.
That part, yeah.
Yeah.
He does this weird, he swings over the bed and he's laying in bed, does like a cha-cha-cha-cha thing. So, I couldn't tell if he, like, another notch on the belt.
Yeah. Well, I think he's just like, I can get anyone. But also maybe he kind of likes her, you know?
I thought superficially they look good together. Very cute.
Well, they look around the same age. He's the oldest boy in the cast. She's the oldest girl.
Girl in the cast. They're basically the Walshes.
Yeah, exactly. No, I liked it. I was into it.
What could have been?
Is
this the only time that happens between the two of them?
I feel like maybe it's like a little bit a little, but he's so into Kelly. He's still not over Kelly.
I know. I forget how incestuous this group of friends is.
Were your friends like this? I guess mine were.
No.
You know what? I hooked up with several of Mitch's friends prior to Mitch.
I mean, we were a weird group of friends. Like, I think only one of us had a boyfriend, and then none of us were like, we were just friends.
We had one friend in particular who dated all three of my best friends except me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I was the one.
How tall was he?
He was like 5'10".
Interesting.
So that's why I was
like,
no,
height
thank you.
Does not make or break the dick. I'll tell you that right now.
That's true.
Yeah, but I'm just a tall person, so I'm always curious if someone's taller than me.
You know, I was watching Florida Project this weekend, which is a great movie by the same guy as Honora. Shout out to my Honora t-shirt.
Hey.
But Sean Baker, it's a great film. But Willem Dafoe. I was going to say William H. Macy. Willem Dafoe is in it, and just the way he was walking, I go, Mitch, I think he's got a huge dick.
What? Oh, yeah.
And then I Googled it, and confirmation, they had to CGI his dick out in a movie because it was so big. It would have been like confusingly big. Confusing is the word they use.
So wait, what's the movie you were just watching?
The Florida Project.
Did I watch that? I was just talking about Willem Dafoe.
It's really good.
I met him.
He works at a motel down in Florida. It's great. I highly recommend it. Sean Baker's, all of his movies are fantastic.
So have you ever watched Fishing with John?
No.
It's a TV show, weird, random TV show. No one ever knows it, where this guy takes his friends fishing. His friends that he takes fishing are like Tom Waits, Dennis Hopper, Willem Dafoe.
Okay.
I think it's I can't remember if that's the ice fishing one or whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, very niche, very cult. I know Mitch knows it, Fishing with John.
Oh, for sure.
So I worked at a restaurant in Austin, Texas, and when a famous person was in the city of Austin, Texas, the whole city knew it because it's a small town and no one famous was ever there.
Yeah.
And it was Willem Dafoe. And he came into the restaurant I was working in. And I walked right up to him. I went, "Your episode of Fishing with John is my favorite."
Oh, my
and
God.
Went, and I walked away. But he is this tall.
No, he seems small. But again, Jason Priestley, we've heard, has a huge dick.
As someone who has lived the slutty life, I can verify there are very short men out there with huge dicks.
See, to me, it's always been the tall, skinny guys.
There's that.
Yeah.
We
And
exist.
congrats as
We exist. But it is not.
as a tall, skinny guy. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to defend all, if anyone is conscious about their size of their body, I want to let other people, or whatever, I just want people to know that like short guys have huge dicks. Don't let that stop you. Don't let that scare you, because
Also,
it's good sex.
Being on the shorter size, height wise, it can make your dick look bigger too.
Well, that's a blessing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a magical thing.
Because I hooked up with two guys, not at the same time, but like they probably had around the same size dick. One guy was 6'5", one guy was like 5'10".
Yes.
Huge on 5'10".
Yes.
Small on 6'5".
It's all optics.
Yeah.
It is. Also, small dicks can be a thing too. I'm not trying to diss that
We're
at
not
all.
we're not size
queens,
shaming.
yeah.
We're not size queens. I'm open to all sizes. I mean, not anymore because of Mitch, but
Same. So I also have a boyfriend, but in my working days,
Yeah, exactly.
A huge dick was too much.
that's too much.
Scary.
There really is a Goldilocks, like just right.
Yeah, there really is. So
And
yeah.
it depends on your own body as well, you know?
Well, I don't know. I also found there was like lots of laziness with guys with big dicks.
Yes, I fucked one guy with a huge
Never
dick,
again.
and he was also very hot.
Uh-huh.
And he was so boring and lazy
Yeah.
in the bedroom,
Yes.
and he did not go down. And his friend told me after that it was because has a big dick and is so hot and tall, and he's never had to learn how, because like girls just like hop on. It's like a hot girl like starfishing in the bed. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it is real. It is a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Yeah.
And and also sometimes with a big dick, you're like, can you help me?
Yeah,
Like I need
exactly.
a little assistance with
exactly.
this. Yeah. This is not a one-man job.
Exactly.
So yeah, anyway,
I
shout
love
out.
we're talking about this during the breast lump episode.
That's not the only lump, okay? Breasts aren't the only thing with lumps.
Exactly. Okay, so where are we?
Who
so,
do you think has the biggest dick on 90210?
well, Jason Priestley, we know, has a big
Notoriously.
dick.
Okay, yeah.
Notoriously big.
I'm going to go with Scott. I'm going to go with Scott.
That's the only way to justify
Yeah.
how poorly he's treated by everyone.
Yeah.
Is God gave him a big dick.
Yeah, he didn't actually get. Yeah, no one ever. Yeah, he didn't die by bullets. He jerked himself. He shot himself in the face, if you know what I mean.
Just a
Who
mega
knows?
wad.
He probably tripped over his dick and fell
tripped
down
over
the
his dick.
stairs, and then
So
they had to
it's-
disguise it as
Yes,
gun
exactly.
violence. Different kind
Oh
of
my
gun,
God.
different kind of shotgun.
I love it. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
So the rest of this episode is a little like it's just a lot
clinical.
of it's clinical. It's statistics and it's a lot of heavy monologues and scenes between people. You know, Brenda has a couple of breakdowns, understandably. She's
Yes.
waiting for these results.
Listen, if Shannon Doherty was thirsty or hungry for dramatic scenes, this episode is full of them.
This is her Emmy submission. Now, wait, we're gonna
Just how many times does she cry?
she cries at least, it has to be at least 3 times.
Like, that's hard to do.
Yeah, it is hard. She's great in this.
Yes, imagine in one episode having to cry that much.
And after her comedic chops last episode, she's got the goods, you guys.
the versatility.
The versatility. She is verse, honey.
That is so funny.
Honestly, I don't even really, it just felt a lot like the same scene a few times.
but
of
yes,
like
yes,
waiting.
yes.
And so
All
she
that.
goes to the biopsy, gets it out. For some reason, she's wide awake while they're doing this biopsy.
Yeah, is that a thing?
I don't know.
I do know Arnold Schwarzenegger has has stayed awake during open heart surgery.
Okay,
And
so
you can do that.
maybe it's the thing. I mean, I get it as like from a production standpoint. It's not interesting for her to.
Oh,
just
is
be,
it the needle one or no? They're doing the
No, they're doing the full
thing.
biopsy
Yeah.
next, and she like has a hair.
Oh, I know
like
because
yeah.
that's when my friend Paige thought she looked fat.
Now look, oh yeah, that's you remember.
Very unflattering.
Now look, I have been through this. I found in my armpit, I had a weird like lump in there. It was squishy and weird.
Yeah.
And I went to my doctor and she goes, I don't think it's anything, but I'm going to send you to get a mammogram. And so I have been through this where you're waiting. It turns out it's an artery that is like weirdly shaped in my armpit.
Brag.
I don't want to brag.
What shape is it?
It's like here, I'll show it.
Is it like the shape of Texas or something?
It's like
that.
see, you could I have
Oh,
like,
sort of.
do you see that?
I see that,
there?
yeah.
Yeah, it's like this
All right.
squishy little
It's a
thing.
dimple.
It's like a little thing, but
Pit dimple.
So check your armpits, ladies, as well, because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
all connected.
Correct.
Because they sent me for a mammogram
Your
for that.
glands are there.
They're glands,
Yes.
exactly. So I was like, is this a gland? Is it what? Am I, everyone was like, I don't think this is anything, but I still, and anyone who's had a mammogram, they like shove your tits in there. If you don't have big tits,
And it flattens
it flattens them. And I had this woman, and she's like maneuvering it in, and she's like shoving it down.
Weird.
It's really weird.
You're like, that's my body.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought I was going to have to wait for a while because I had seen this episode.
Uh-huh.
But luckily, I was able to go in with the doctor, and she was able to just say, like, hey, this is just your artery. No big deal. See you in 5 years. This was when I was like 35. Because they don't start doing mammograms usually till 40. But I did remember this episode because it was like one of my first memories and learning about breast cancer.
There's a couple little tiny details in this episode that I love, very 90s, and one is like the cordless phone,
Oh, yes.
because Brenda's very eager to get the results, and my
Yes.
favorite thing is the importance, the vitalness
Yes.
of once you pushed talk, and then you absolutely had to pull up that antenna
Yes.
to get your medical results.
Yes,
Otherwise,
exactly.
there might be a bad connection.
There might be a bad connection.
That's just that one move where she's like, yes, like it's a
Yes,
walkie-talkie.
yes.
Very subtle. But her friends came over for the results.
Yes.
Everybody's there for the good or bad news.
Yeah.
Which sounds awful.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone in on my medical stuff.
No.
Yeah. As a man of a certain lifestyle, gay men, you have to go get your blood tested
Yeah.
for PrEP and obviously HIV, all
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah,
You do it
yeah.
every 3 months, STD, all that kind of shit. And have you had an HIV test ever?
I always ask for one, even when I'm with Mitch.
Yeah, that's great.
But I mean, just because, again, I'm a hypochondriac.
Yeah.
And I laugh, not that I laugh at my own ridiculousness because the doctor's constantly like, do you have any? And I'm like, let's run the HIV test.
Yeah.
Even though there's not really
A possibility.
it would be so unlikely unless like there was a new way to transmit it.
Correct.
Basically.
Yeah, through the air.
Yeah, exactly.
But the test is fast.
Yeah.
It's like a finger prick, and then they do a thing. But the 10 seconds
Yeah.
that you're waiting for that is nuts.
So,
like it's intense.
when I do it, I'm also doing chlamydia, like
Oh,
all
the
the I'm like, test me for
the
everything.
sweep, yeah.
Again, it's the hypochondriac. It's like getting that. It's like a drug, getting the relief of like a negative thing. It's like I think that's part of what it is. Is like you hype yourself up and are like, oh my God, this really bad thing. And then the relief feels so good. It's really
Interesting.
weird and fucked up.
I feel that way about the dentist. I don't feel that way about the doctor. I just feel that way about the dentist. Like one day they're just gonna be like, and I'm sorry, all your teeth are Marlboro Reds.
Yeah.
Like, but I quit smoking years ago.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
afraid
yeah,
of like some like I don't know. I'm afraid that they're gonna be like, we have to remove your jaw.
Yeah.
Because you insisted on smoking weed. You'd be like, how am I gonna get high?
I know, but how?
All that. So yeah, I admire the patients. They treated this episode very respectfully.
I
thought.
agree. I thought it was really well done. Again, it was very statistic heavy, but back then, like you really could only get information from seeking it out in like a book or a magazine. It wasn't like you just had the internet at your fingertips.
I also think this show was such a juggernaut that they are taking themselves seriously.
Yeah.
Maybe a little too seriously.
Oh yeah, I think so too. Well,
But-
like with the last episode, too seriously, but with this one, I think the right amount of seriousness.
I'll tell you this. Donna's dial joke was funnier than anything Brenda said in her set.
It's really true.
Donna's the comedian.
Donna is the comedian. Brandon, though, it's so sweet. He cancels the SATs to go.
Oh, we have to talk about the dream.
Oh, the dream.
Because does it come back from commercial break in the dream?
I think so.
Of Brenda lying in a coffin?
Oh, yes. And oh my God, I totally wrote that down. It's giving Heather's
Yeah.
the dream sequence of the funeral at Heather's, where Brenda, fucking Heather, whichever Heather she was. I forget what there's Heather Duke, Heather Chandler, and then I forget what her last name was. But she goes up to the coffin and she's like, "Thank you, Lord. I prayed for this so many times." But it reminded me of that. The lighting feels a little similar.
Do you think the writers were like, because they knew they were working with Shannon Doherty, do you think that they were trying to like homage?
Maybe. It
her
felt a
film
little
career?
Twin Peaksy too.
That was what I thought.
Yeah.
Just the haziness of it all.
Uh-huh.
I wonder, so at the time, at season 1, Shannon Doherty was the biggest, or was it Jason Priestley?
No, Shannon was, even though Jason was number 1 on the call sheet and I believe got paid more. Shannon was indisputably the top star.
Like she was the Courtney Cox.
She was.
Of the
exactly.
cast, right?
Like the most well-known, not wildly famous,
Sure.
but still had done the most legitimate stuff.
Okay, yeah. Was Jason Priestley like super Canadian famous?
Yes, I think he had been on a Canadian sitcom that Tori had seen and was like, "He's cute, Dad."
Oh, yeah.
Tori had a huge hand in casting.
In him being there.
Yeah.
And he didn't really return the favor, it sounds like.
Yeah, it doesn't.
My favorite thing about him being a Canadian star to a U.S. star is all he had to do was lose the mullet.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That
They're
was
like,
it.
now
And
he's
like, you're a
American.
star. Yeah, exactly.
But it's interesting because Brenda goes up and talks to everyone in her dream when she's dead. And she talks to Kelly. And Kelly's making a list of all the shit she wants. She's like, "I want this pair of shoes, this, and your boyfriend."
But what was the porcelain doll collection?
Oh, yeah, the porcelain doll collection.
Have we seen these dolls?
No.
Where is Brenda's porcelain doll collection?
No, and why does she have them?
But do you know who did have a porcelain doll collection?
Who?
Candy Spelling.
Oh.
Tori Spelling's mom.
Oh, that makes sense. So
And they're-
that's a nod,
Have
right?
you seen that in the Mega Mansion?
Yes.
She has her own fucking room to these dolls.
Yes.
We need to have a Candy Spelling episode.
Oh, we do. Dedicated 100% Candy.
It's so bizarre because she is part of the Spelling universe.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, but where does the porcelain doll collection?
We don't know where it is. We've never
appear?
seen it. But it's these shoes,
Yes.
porcelain doll, and Dylan.
And Kelly takes the boy. So
Yeah.
are they planting those seeds?
You know what? Since it's a dream, we have to imagine that this is something that Brenda, it's in her subconscious.
Yes.
You know?
Clearly.
Yeah.
They show Donna, but they don't do a close-up interaction.
Yeah,
of
I
her.
think they only do it for Kelly,
Yeah.
Brandon, and Dylan.
So
right?
Brandon's dead look was so good.
Oh, Brandon killed it. I mean,
Like-
she smacks him in the head, and he did not react.
Black turtleneck with like a silver chain necklace around it or something. I was dying. It was very sprockets.
Very good.
Very sprockets.
So then after this, she gets the call, right? And it's good news.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
From the doctor. Did you notice that the doctor was sort of covering her hair?
Yeah, it was
in
weird.
the scene.
It was
like,
very weird.
Yeah, I didn't like the doctor actress. She reminded me of like Cindy's understudy.
Yes.
Like she would have been a more convincing
Yeah.
Walsh.
She was just kind of boring.
But Brenda gets the good news that she's cancer free and everyone's at the house and like celebrating. And then that's it. But they showed up with flowers.
They showed up with flowers, and it's a nice, ending, and I'm sure it spread a lot of awareness.
Oh, wait. Okay, wait. I forgot. Okay, but when they're at the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
And they're taking her home, and she shows up in the wheelchair. And Dylan shows up.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember what he's wearing?
What?
He just has this. He's a like silk shirt buttoned all the way up. I think it's
Yes.
got like 4 squares.
Yes.
It's very quadded.
Oh, I love that.
That is so far my top Dylan look. Yeah.
Okay.
He looks so cute.
Honestly, I was so stoned by this point. I was like Mitch was like, "You're fucked up."
Yes.
But I have to say, we were talking about this before, just in terms of like manifesting, putting it out there. This episode, who is potentially, having breast cancer? Brenda, Shannon Doherty's character. How did Shannon Doherty die? Breast cancer. Similarly, in Heather's, the movie that she is also in, Heather Chandler, I think, the red one, says to Winona Ryder, "Did you have a brain tumor for breakfast?" That woman died of a brain tumor.
It's like,
There's freaky stuff like that.
you know when people say like be very specific about what you ask the universe for?
Yes.
Have you ever said something in your stand-up set that actually later happened to you? Like I've made jokes about people that have immediately, like not immediately, but have 1000% then happened to me. I'm
Interesting.
like,
I'm
oh,
sure-
I can't make jokes about that.
I'm sure, but I really am a believer in like what you say, but also what you say with feeling, I think is the key. You know what I mean?
Because you're putting that vibration
You're
out
putting
there.
that vibration out there. Yeah.
Yeah. I do believe, not magic or anything, but like everything, we're water and electricity and all of those like can handle vibrations and all that kind of a thing.
Oh, I'm into all that stuff.
Did she ever talk about that in her podcast, like leading up that there was an episode?
I don't know. And I haven't, maybe I'll do some research, but like I haven't, I just thought, it took a while for me to make that connection too.
Yeah, I never did. This is how stupid I am. That's how high I was.
But,
I was just enjoying the cancer episode.
But like, I think I realized it when I was rewatching for the first time last summer, shortly after she passed.
But you know what this means?
What?
I mean, if that is like true, then Tori Spelling is gonna run into Color Me Bad at a hotel.
Oh my God! And Candy is gonna be fucking
someone else. Well, she should. Aaron's dead.
Aaron's dead.
Yeah, I thought it was weird to watch that because that literally was like the last part of Shannon Doherty's life was her podcast and talking about her cancer and that kind of like saying goodbye was a lot of the last part of her life. I don't remember this episode being referenced.
But also it's like, in like a really deep way, it's like, that was like, maybe that was so part of like what she was put here to do is like spread awareness in the TV show and then later in her life, you know?
Actually, who knows if not anyone even saw the episode and gave themselves an exam or went to the doctor,
I
like
guarantee,
all that.
Here's the thing. I think it's so smart that they did this because this show was so popular with young people and to put this into their minds at a young age, it affected me and I was like 8, you know what I mean?
And look at the hypochondriac you've grown into.
I'm like, look at my armpit. I guarantee it helped people.
I appreciate that this episode was mainly just that story and they're kind of, I mean, yes, the SAT thing was going along, but that was such a low temperature thing that it just kind of focused you in on that so that it isn't attacky in hindsight, like going back, they weren't light on it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's respectable and it holds up.
Because they've been frivolous with the topic and then she passes of that, then that would have looked like so
yes, absolutely.
Tone deaf
but
or whatever.
It's so that stuff is so interesting.
I mean, there's lots of that in Hollywood. It's like all the guys who've played Superman. Yeah, terrible things have happened to their body. One of them killed themselves.
And well, what's his name?
Oh my God, I can't believe I can't think of his name. Christopher Reeves. Yeah, like to be paralyzed. To be a quadriplegic when you could fly. Yes. You know, all of those things.
It's really interesting.
They happen in Hollywood. It's like the same thing. Desi Arnaz, you know, was sponsored by Philip Morris, the cigarette company. Well, guess who died of lung cancer? Like those things, those things happen. Yeah. Like that company made that guy, was a part of making him a famous, successful person, also / killed him. Yes. So it's just one of those things.
Interesting.
I seriously do. And all the dumb stand-up jokes I make, I'm always like, I feel like one of these days something I said is going to come back to haunt me like that. Yeah. Because I was, a jerk about it or something.
It is. I mean, be careful what you think and what you say and what you speak into the universe.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
But I do think, but I do wonder sometimes.
It's like, I get it. Yeah.
No, you know what I mean? But like, sometimes I wonder, like, there's definitely interviews of Shannon talking about this episode and her real life cancer. Okay. I'm interested to listen to those.
Can we just give Aaron, first of all, Aaron who's in the booth, also spelling Shannon Doherty's name correctly with the E at the end. He's fact checking that and also being respectful.
I mean, even when Gabrielle posted for her death, initially she did spell it incorrectly. She fixed it. We're not going to
harp on
nitpick, but anyway.
Aaron probably DM'd her, was like, it's
girl.
E. Yeah. Because it's your crush. I don't want to deny that. You'd be looking out for your girl.
Yeah, we love your girl.
You don't
we
want
love her.
Zuckerman with a spell check.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is really interesting. Yes. And I'm very curious to hear what Shannon has to say about that.
Yeah. Everything I thought I remembered about this episode was crystal clear.
Oh, see?
I very much remember it.
So you were affected by it.
All the feelings were there. Well, and the stress, honestly, when you're a kid, like the stress of SAT, I thought that was like a thing. Oh, yeah. I really invested in that emotion. Yeah. And just all of that. This literally had, because the kind of drama I wanted in my life was that. Like, I didn't want cancer, but I wanted people to feel sorry for me because I was sick.
Yes.
Not that that's what everybody thinks, but
Yes.
like, I just needed that emotional attention.
Yes.
So
I get that.
that's why I think I related to
Yeah.
it. Was like, I want that kind of attention.
Yeah.
I want flowers.
Yeah, I want flowers.
I want to miss the test.
The episode is particularly Gabrielle, my high school girlfriend. She was obsessed with the SATs.
So this one spoke to Aaron
Yes.
because he had a crush on Gabrielle Carteras, and his high school girlfriend was obsessed with it. My poor parents, I couldn't have cared less about good grades.
Oh, yeah.
Like-
If I was into it, straight A's, but if not, I did not give a shit.
Yeah, it was great. I wonder if I'd gotten into like weed or drugs at that time, if I would have been a better student. I think sobriety was my problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, getting stoned makes me, I am like working, look at all these notes. Copious notes.
If I don't have weed, I don't nail it down.
Seth Rogen, I think, said something. He's like, look, it's just, if I have to do tedious work, like, it's a little more enjoyable when you're stoned.
Totally,
you know?
1,000%. I love that.
So how do you rate this episode? It's hard because it's not one you're like, I loved it.
Yeah,
It's
I'm not
weird
excited about it.
It's like, but I'll go first. I'm gonna give it a 5 because I think it was an reminder. I have given less than 5s, but I think it was an important episode that directly had an impact on me.
Yeah.
In terms of getting checked, and I think it was cool that they did that at this time. When resources weren't kind of as readily available as they are
No
now.
internet.
Yeah.
Like you had to get your mom to put her hair up and take you to the doctor.
Exactly. And I'm going to give it the 5 because fucking Andrea and Steve made out.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll give this one a clean bill of health.
Okay.
That's what I'll give it. But I'll give it, it really left me wanting more with the Steve and Andrea story.
Me
so
too.
as a viewer, I'll give it 4.
Okay.
I think they worked in a lot when they were dealing with a serious topic.
Yes.
They gave Donna a funny line. They gave a weird romantic tangent. And where was Kelly in this?
Kelly.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to up it to 5 for the artwork.
Oh, the artwork. Yes.
And we're back. Sorry. Yeah, and we're back.
Okay,
5 mega
thank God.
burgers, mainly for the art.
Thank God. Clean bill of health. All right. What did you guys think of this one? Let us know. Email us, glitterandgarbagepod@gmail.com. Rate and review. Thank you so much. Check your titties, ladies.
Aren't you glad you used Dial?
Exactly. And dudes. I had
Yeah.
male friend had a lump that he had to go
1,000%.
get checked out.
Yeah.
So everyone check your tits. And be well. Until next time, we'll see you on Glitter and
Bye.
Garbage into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Candyverse.
Into the Spellingverse.
Into the Candyverse.
Oh, good night.
Glitter and garbage.